Welcome to the Monday Night Marsh here. This is our Works in Progress series that we've been doing for over 30 years now. All this programming is for free if you can support us with a donation through our tip jar. There is a link on our homepage, and I'll put one also in the chat. But enough from me. So since I am also the tech, pardon me while I set up the proper screens for our program tonight. This is a new piece. We're really delighted to have Suraya join us for the first time here on Monday Night Marsh with her piece, From Prison to Peru, My Journey Home. I give you Suraya Keating, ladies and gentlemen.
From very early in life, I used to have dreams of the grandmother I never met. She used to speak to me, often in Spanish. Escúchame, mi hija. Escúchame. Todo está bien, pero todavía no conoces esto. Tienes que viajar primero. Todos estamos de viaje aquí. Confía en mí. Confía en ti. Over time, I lost connection to my grandmother's voice. It's like I didn't even know how to tune in. Grandmother got lost. I got lost. Hi, sorry to bother you. I know this is kind of an awkward thing to do through the internet, but I'm a little bit lost and I wonder if you know which way I'm supposed to go. Well, even better, do you have a home for me? Yes, a home and a family too would be spectacular for me and my 9-year-old son. Yeah, I can tell you something about myself, sure. My name is Sabrina. Let's see, I was born in Brooklyn. My mother was a Russian Jew, my father Irish Catholic. What else do you want to know? Other relatives. Yes, I have 2 brothers and about a dozen aunts and uncles, about twice as many cousins. Why can't I ask them for a home? Oh, well, I don't know most of them, just that weird emotional cutoff from family and intergenerational chain of pain sort of stuff. Yeah, I thank you for understanding, but can't you help me? You want me to ask my mother? Ask my mother? No, you don't understand. I can't ask my mother. You see, my mother, my Jewish mother, Evelyn, born in Brooklyn, was a huge proponent of education. In fact, to my mother, the most important thing was getting as much education as possible and as quickly as possible. I remember when my mother pushed me ahead to 1st grade when I should have been in kindergarten. Mr. Principal, my daughter Sabrina is way too smart for 1st grade. I mean kindergarten. She needs to be in 1st grade. So I was pushed ahead into 1st grade with a group of kids who were all a year older than me. No matter, my mother was sure I would excel. And I did. Now, my mother was also kind-hearted, a big advocate for the poor, and always giving to others. I remember when she used to hand out sandwiches to the homeless people she would pass in Brooklyn. Would you like a sandwich? You want peanut butter and jelly or salami? Oh, you want both? No problem. Here you go. And would you like a homemade chocolate chip cookie to go with it? My mother was also very gifted with gab. She could talk to anyone. In fact, she loved to talk up all the locals and knew all the bank tellers, post office workers, and crossing guards by first name. Now, only thing was, though my mother was very skilled at talking, she was missing the key complementary communication skill, listening. Trying to get my mom to listen was trying to get a river to reverse direction, especially during sale time at JCPenney. Oh, look, 75% off on panties. Sabrina, come here. What do you think of these? Oh, they're gorgeous. Mom, I kind of prefer those. No, ooh, those are way too strange looking. You need these. Now, what about socks? Do you need some socks? You don't know? Yes, you do. All right, and how about this cute little bra for your little breast buds coming in? They'll be perfect. Now, while my mom's intentions were good, her lack of listening made me feel a little sad and unseen. But Mom was also not very good at dealing with sadness or any difficult emotion. Instead, what I learned during my childhood was a very important rule. That was to pretend. Lesson number 1 of my childhood upbringing: no matter what is happening inside of you, pretend you are okay and you will be fine. Shh. Nobody knows about the ongoing anxiety, depression, mental illness in our family, and I'm gonna make sure it stays that way. Now, our family is very happy. My daughter's very happy, and my kids all get along very well. Especially my sons, Pete and Ellis. They love each other very much. Fuck you, you sucker! Well, fuck you, you stupid ass! Fuck you, you can't play baseball for shit. Fuck you, you don't know shit from Shinola. Well, fuck you, you weakling wannabe athlete. Well, fuck you, you stupid shit who failed kindergarten. Arrgh! Mom, Dad, can you make them stop? Pete and Ellis yelling at each other again. Oh, Sabrina, don't worry about it. Yeah, they're fine. Your brothers love each other. They're just fine. But Mom, they hate each other. What do you mean? They're fine. Doesn't that matter to you? Oh, no. They're fine. I gotta go. But Mom. Now, I used to try to talk to my brothers, Pete and Ellis, but every time I did so, they would either dismiss, yell, or sometimes curse at me. I really craved for my older brother, Pete, to care about me and to pay attention to me. Hi, Pete. What do you want? I just wanted to say hi. What for? Well, I wanted to tell you good news. I got a part in the school play. Ugh. Why would I care about that? Get out. Now, my interactions with Pete would sometimes leave me feeling hurt and sad, but I was not allowed to feel that or show that. As my mother would say, don't be a crybaby, Sabrina. There's nothing to cry about. So instead, I learned lesson number 2 of my childhood upbringing. When things get too hard to deal with, you always have imagination. Woo! With imagination, you can travel anywhere you want to go, be whoever you want to be, and feel however you want to feel. With imagination, I used to have fantasies every night before I went to sleep about living with some other family in some other part of the world. Tonight, I am part of a French family. I have 2 sisters instead of 2 brothers, and 2 cute little dogs. And and we make up dance performances for my mom and dad and share them in the living room. And we just love being silly together. And, you know, sometimes when I'm imagining, grandmother comes back and she speaks to me again. Estoy aquí, mi hija. Estoy aquí siempre. En el mundo, entre los mundos. Ven conmigo. Ven conmigo. And just for a moment, as I let this fantasy of my French family take flight, and I hear grandmother's voice, I feel happy and I feel free. Now, lesson number 3 of my childhood upbringing has something to do with something you might know about. It's called the shadow. See, there was a lot in my family that was not talked about. Mental illness, depression, anxiety, total severing of relationships from all our other relatives, even suicide attempts. Nothing wrong with Pete, Sabrina. He's fine. He's just totally fine. Okay, Mom, but why is he locking himself in his room all day? Oh, don't worry about him. He's a perfectly happy kid. Okay, but why was he in the hospital all last night? Oh, he was just upset about the grade he got in chemistry class. You mean the A-? Well, Pete knows that he can get better than that. You all are capable of straight A's, let's face it. Now, denial or suppression in one generation only makes it worse in the next. So this shadow that my family didn't want to face, I got to inherit big time. And boy, by the time I was old enough, I was ready to get on out of there. Time passed. Once I hit 18, I decided to get as far away as possible from my birth family. I traveled the world whenever I could. Here I come, Ecuador, India, Bali, and more, Kenya, and more. I traveled and traveled, but no matter where I traveled to, I could never escape the pain and the disconnection I felt inside. I started hearing grandmother's voice again. Mi hija querida, ya es tiempo, ya sabes mucho, ya has viajado bastante adentro. Ahora es tiempo viajar adentro. It was time to travel to a different place. It was time to travel within. I finally landed in beautiful California, where I started training in expressive arts therapy, drama therapy, and did a ton of healing work. But no matter where I went, I couldn't escape still that feeling of pain and loneliness. I was still big time on a search for home and family and on a search for love. Now, one of the places I felt drawn to working and using my skills as a drama therapist was the California prison system. Now, what on earth might I learn about family, home, and love working in a prison? Well, I was about to find out. I still remember the first time I walked into those multiple gates of San Quentin prison like it was yesterday. The sight of decaying brick and rusting metal is such a sharp contrast to the wide open sky and beautiful bay and mountains surrounding the prison walls. I make it through the prison gates, and I get my first lecture about the inmates from Officer Swats. When you work with these guys, you gotta remember who you're dealing with. The mentality of these guys ranges from age 3 to 93. If they think like a 3-year-old, give them what a 3-year-old likes, candy. If they think like a 93-year-old, give them a crossword puzzle and a cigar. This ain't the minor leagues. We're dealing with some platinum level people here. But you don't want to get those inmates on your bad side. But you do want to show them who's boss. Hey, you, Wilson. Yeah, you. That area's off limits right now. Where you going? Yeah, going to Shakespeare class? Yeah, that Mickey Wilson guy could use some Shakespeare. Bet he can't even read. Now, during my first few weeks working at San Quentin, I didn't know what to make of the guys in my Shakespeare drama group. I mean, for all the hype of like hardened criminals that you get in the mainstream media, the guys in my group seem so normal. I mean, the people at the staff, by the way, call them inmates. The staff call them inmates, but I can never use that word. I like to call them people. Little by little, I get to know all the people in my prison drama group, get to know their struggles, their strengths, their personalities, and their stories. You know, oddly, I get to know these guys way better than I've ever gotten to know anyone in my own family. Now, as my bonds with the guys I was working with at prison began to deepen, I still yearned for a different, more intimate kind of love. That's when I met Tommy. Now, after having a series of boyfriends, where I was replaying my childhood woundings by choosing people who were either emotionally unavailable, polyamorous, or both, I was relieved to find in Tommy a spiritual, kind, sober, and monogamous partner. Now, not only was Tommy extremely spiritual, he was also extremely handsome. Yep, and Texan-born Tommy was a true gentleman. He loved to help people with just about everything, especially me. Hey, Angel, can I get the door for you? Great. Oh, by the way, I'd like to fix your toilet tomorrow, if that's all right. Yeah, and I was thinking I could take care of that noise in your car, no problem. Now, let me know if there's anything else I can fix for you, because I'd like to help you with anything I can. Thanks, Tommy. Within the first week of dating, Tommy had fixed everything that was broken in my life. Within 2 weeks, he had said the magic 3 words that made my heart spin and my oxytocin levels shoot up really high. By week 3, we were just bonded at the hip, enjoying that fresh honeymoon period of new romance. On our 6-month anniversary, Tommy invited me out to the Cliff House restaurant, and in a cozy booth seat overlooking the Pacific Ocean in San Francisco, Tommy says, "Hey, Angel, I must be the luckiest guy alive to have attracted a girl like you into my life. Now, just want you to promise me one thing, sweetheart. Just promise me, no matter what happens between us, no matter what, I will always be in your heart. Will you promise me that?" "Yeah, sure, Tommy. I promise." Now, that was the most beautiful experience of love I had ever experienced. Life was going good. And Tommy had showed me what it was like to have that feeling of home. You know, oddly, after several years and several hundred visits into San Quentin State Prison, the prison was also starting to feel like a home, and the guys in my group kind of like a family. I remember every time I would walk up the ramp to the rusting old portables where we had Shakespeare class twice a week, I was greeted with a chorus of smiles like I might expect to find, from my own family on Thanksgiving. Only I can't be sure of that because I haven't made it to my own home in Thanksgiving for many, many years. Now, Mickey is the spunkiest, boldest, and most dedicated member of Shakespeare. Now, unlike what that officer SWAT said about him years ago, he is quite literate. After directing Mickey in lots of Shakespeare plays and also life story theater work, I've gotten to know a lot about Mickey's life and about his family, which was a gang from LA East Side. I remember when Mickey shared this scene between him and Moot, the leader of the posse. "Mickey, what the fuck? Get your ass in the corner right now, face the wall. I want to hear no explanation." "What? But Moot, I swear I didn't do anything. Jerome framed me. I swear." "What? You're not only a thief, but you're a liar now too, boy. Huh, no wonder your real mama gave you up." I'm not a thief and I'm not a liar, and you could only get off your ass and listen. Ah! How dare you? How dare you disrespect your elders? "I'm sorry, Moot, I'm sorry." "Good. Now, get your ass in the corner, face the wall, start counting." "Hey, Mickey, you know I love you, boy." Love, it can take you to the height of ecstasy and also to the pit of despair. I was riding a love high with Tommy. I thought I had finally found what I was searching for, a true sense of love, family, and home. Now, not only was Tommy the most spiritual guy I've ever dated, he was also the cleanest person I've ever met. And every time I visited him in his San Francisco studio apartment, he was more clean and more fair than the last time. Hey, Tommy, it looks like you got rid of some books. Yeah, bad idea to hold on to things if they don't uplift your energy. Rule of thumb, if it doesn't raise your energy, let it go. You got rid of your dresser too. Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I don't really need that many clothes. I mean, you know, the swamis in India, they wear the same thing day after day for months. Oh, well, I thought Tommy's quirks and preference for cleanliness and Zen style simplicity to be kind of endearing, until one day I returned to find, Tommy, what happened to your bed? Oh, got rid of it. Don't really need it. Well, where am I going to sleep tonight? Where else, Angel? In my arms. Now, Tommy's decluttering got worse and worse until he no longer had soap or even toothpaste at his place. But this had nothing to do with Zen or decluttering his life. He no longer needed these things, just like he no longer needed his men's group or his sobriety meetings. He needed only one thing. Hey, Angel, wake up, let's go. I would love to go gaze at the stars with you. Tommy, it's 2 a.m. and I have to work early tomorrow. I need to sleep. Oh, come on, Angel, be so fun. We'll go walking in that oak grove in the park. Come on, Angel. Tommy, no, that's okay. You go without me. Tommy? Tommy? Now, that was the first night that Tommy began roaming the streets of San Francisco for his evening walks. What he was doing out there, well, I guess I didn't want to know. You know, after all, I had learned from my blood family, sometimes it's better not to look at the shadow. But even with Tommy's quirks and night walks, I still felt like I was getting closer and closer with him, just like I was getting closer and closer with the guys at the prison. But sadly, at the same time, I felt farther and farther away from my mother and from my blood family. Mom and I would have our weekly phone conversations, which sounded something like this. Hi, how's the weather? Do you have enough underwear? And are you eating enough? Yeah, Mom, the weather's fine. My underwear is fine. I'm eating fine. Now, I know my mother loved me, but I really wanted Mom to know me, just like I was starting to know Tommy and the guys at the prison. So on occasion, I dared to try to share a little more vulnerably with Mom. Hey, Mom, there's something I'd really love to talk to you about. Yeah, that's fine. What do you want to talk about? Well, I just want you to know that, you know, I know you and Dad did the best you could in loving me and all of us, but, you know, I wasn't really happy as a child. What do you mean you weren't happy? Well, how could you have not been happy? We gave you everything. Yeah, no, I know, Mom, and I'm grateful for everything you and Dad did. It's just, you know, there was a lot that wasn't talked about in our family, a lot of like mental illness, anxiety, not talking to our other relatives, and that just made me really sad. I can't talk about this, Sabrina. I don't know what you're talking about. But, Mom? Well, so much for trying to have a heart-to-heart connection with Mom. But it didn't matter. I was getting all my unmet emotional needs met through Tommy. Sort of. You see, after that night at the Cliff House, just when Tommy landed a spot deep within my heart, he also started to fly away from my life. Hey, you know I love you, Angel, but I got this work project with my friend Danny, and it means I got to take a little space from you and me. Oh, what kind of work project is it? Oh, it's just a boring old work project, but it'll make me some cash, and I hope I can buy a home for us someday. Oh, that's cool. But, you know, why did you have to stay at Danny's house all night? Oh, well, you know, I was just helping Danny fix his car. Oh, what happened to his car? You know, somebody slashed the tires. Why did they slash Danny's tires? Oh, don't worry about it, Angel. Don't worry about it. Now, messing with a girl's dream of big love is dangerous territory. Though I suspected foul play, I was not ready to let go of that dream. So I remembered lesson number 1 from my childhood upbringing. Pretend. Oh, that's cool. So, hey, Tommy, what kind of people does Danny hang around with? Oh, good people. Really, really good people. Yeah, good people. Good people. I have met a lot of good people. A lot of good people actually in my prison groups. Mickey is one of those good people. A good guy raised under impossible circumstances who made some bad decisions. Now, I remember when Mickey first shared with me how he ended up at San Quentin. I used to have nightmares growing up. I'd wake up in my pea-strewn bed and my foster mama would whip me for peeing in my bed. Couldn't concentrate at school. Teachers didn't know what to do with me. They needed me to be quiet. I needed to be heard. So, turned to drugs and alcohol. Started looking for love in all the wrong places. In the weed, in the meth, in the gang that took me in. That night, that dude at the bar, that dude from the Crips, he just came at me like an angry bear, accusing me of sleeping with his girlfriend. I wasn't. Just lost it. Started fighting. You think hitting him over the head with that bottle would kill him? I feel so sad about what I did. He had 2 kids. I've written them tons of letters to apologize, but they never write me back. I guess there are some things you just can't forgive. Forgiveness. Why is it I can forgive Mickey for what he did, but I can't forgive my own mother or blood family for not loving me the way I needed them to? Mom is in her 60s now, has bad arthritis, and will need hip replacement surgery pretty soon. I feel how vulnerable she is, and I just want to love her as she is. And in some ways, I'm drawn to going to New York to be with her for her surgery. But grandmother's calling me to a different place. I need to learn about forgiveness. Ya es tiempo, mi hijita. Es tiempo conocernos en un nivel aún más personal. Venga conmigo. Vuela conmigo. Just after my mother's successful hip replacement surgery, I decide to follow grandmother's calling and travel to Peru. There, I am with a group of 25 other foreigners in the jungle to work with this well-known shaman, Alberto, and reconnect with my soul using ayahuasca, vine of the dead. ¿Estás segura, mi hija? Ábrete a las energías que te curan. Ábrete a tu corazón, tu alma. Ábrate al perdón. With grandmother, I travel. She takes me to places in my soul that are peaceful, powerful, poignant, and so much more. I cry a never-ending river of tears. I laugh in never-ending rivers of laughter. I know in my soul that this life is so much more than what we can see. And I know in my soul that we are all innocent, my mother included, my father included, my brothers included, Mickey included, myself included. We are all innocent and just trying to find our way through the darkness. And I know in my soul what forgiveness feels like beyond whatever mental concept I have ever had of it. I also know that after 2 weeks in the jungle of Peru with Alberto and grandmother, my mother will never forgive me if I don't send her an email letting her know I'm okay. So I decide to take the 2-hour bumpy bus ride to a little town of Tres Caballos, where there is a 3-computer internet cafe. See. 1,040 unread emails. Shoot. Oh. Doesn't emails from the embassy of Peru? They're trying to find me. That's weird. An email from my brother Pete. He almost never writes. Oh my God. Oh my God. My mother is dead? No, that can't be. She was doing so well after her surgery. Oh, yeah. Excuse me, sir. I need your help. Wait, no, I'm not crazy. Help! Oh my mother is dead. And I need. I don't know what I need. I'm alone in the jungle with a group of strangers and a broken heart. after returning to the US after my mother's death, everything has changed. And nothing has changed. As with all deaths, whether they're expected or unexpected, life goes on. Returning to work at the prison with the guys in my group provides a kind of peace to my grieving heart. You know, there I kind of feel like I'm hanging out with my true brothers. I remember Mickey shared some wise words with me about loss after my mother's passing. Hey, Sabrina, you know, really sorry about your mom. And I just want you to know one thing that's helped me is we're gonna lose everyone and everything in this life. That's the only truth. And when we get that, kind of frees us up and empowers us. Yeah, it sure does, Mickey. You know, it just makes me think it's even more reason to really love and care for the people that are right in front of us. Absolutely, Sabrina. And that is something you are really good at, Miss Shakespeare teacher. You know, you're a good egg, Sabrina. I'm a good egg, Mickey said. Sometimes I wonder if that's true. I mean, especially in the months after my mother's passing, I wonder, am I a good egg? I mean, I don't know if I'll ever forgive myself for not being there for her death or showing up more for her when she was alive. It's been 6 months since my mother's death, and my brother Pete, who's now a successful lawyer living in Hawaii, calls me on Thanksgiving. He seems to have the opposite opinion of me than Mickey. What the fuck is wrong with you? Pete, is that you? Yeah, I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, well, Pete, happy Thanksgiving to you too. You called here earlier and say happy Thanksgiving? Your mother dies 6 months ago and you're already ready to say happy Thanksgiving? Fuck that. Hey, Pete, listen, I know you're angry and really missing mom. I miss mom too, but you can't blame that on me. Fuck you. You didn't even come to your own mother's funeral, you selfish bitch. Pete, I didn't come to her funeral because I was in a jungle in Peru when she died and I didn't even know she died until a week after it happened. Fuck you. You're just a selfish bitch and you know it. Pete, listen, I'm sorry. You know, you're right. I really want to work this out. Pete? Goodbye, Pete. Just when one door closes in your life, another door often opens or reopens. The day after my fight on the phone with Pete, I get a surprise call from Tommy. He says he has finished his work project with Danny and is super excited to reunite with me. Oh my God, this is it. Excited to reunite with my soulmate. Put on my best outfit, fix my hair, and head to Tommy's San Francisco apartment. Hi, Tommy. Who are those people? To my surprise, when I get to Tommy's door, he is there with a group of 5 other people, all strewn about his floor with pillows and lots of weird bags and equipment that Kind of looks like they might be doing a science experiment, maybe. Hey, everybody, this is Brainy. I'm so excited. Brainy, come on in. Yeah, this is the angel I was telling y'all about. Tommy, you didn't mention other people would be here. I take a closer look. Bags with different rainbow color substances, a few needles. Oh, this is no science experiment. I'm in a room with some hardcore drug users. Hi, everybody. Hi. Tommy then proceeds to introduce me to Danny Boy, a 50-something-year-old white male with a long gray ponytail who seems to be the leader of the pack. Sabrina, come sit. I've heard so much about you. Now, you know, Tommy's my godson, which makes you my goddaughter. Hey, Candy, give her the next hit. Hit? Oh, no, that's okay. No, thank you. Oh, don't worry about it, sweetie. Just come sit with us. Sit, relax. Now, Tommy tells me you're a drama psychologist or something like that. Sit with us. Tell us what you do. Shit. Should I stay? I mean, are they gonna make me do some really hard drugs if I stay in the room with them? Or are they gonna chase me if I go? Oh, my mind is racing. All right. Oh, lesson number 3, the shadow. The shadow. So what do you do when you're entering the shadow? You gotta remember one thing. Oh, just bring your light. Shit, do I have my light? Oh, got it. Got my light. I'll stay. So I stay the night with my newfound friends, all of whom are high as a kite, except for me. By dawn, they all tell me how much they love me, how I am part of their family now, how anytime I wish, I'm assured I have a place to come home to. Now, shaken by the drug encounter, I confront Tommy on the phone the next day. Tommy, how long have you been back into drugs? And who really is Danny? Is he your boyfriend or your pimp? Angel, listen, I am not back into drugs. I just was trying it one more time. I just needed to do it, you know, just for funs and kicks. But it's you I want. I don't want that drug stuff. Oh, really? Yeah, right, Tommy. So what have you been doing all this time sleeping at Danny's place? You sleeping with him for money for drugs? Why'd you sell all that stuff in your apartment? You're selling your stuff for drugs? Tommy? Phone goes dead. And so the door closes with Tommy. I don't hear from Tommy for many months until he is finally arrested for drug-related crimes and locked up in San Quentin State Prison. Now, Tommy is locked up in a program designed specifically to help drug addicts. I don't see him while he's there, and he never makes it to my Shakespeare class, but he writes me every day. Letter number 1. Sabrina, my love, I miss you so much. With heartbreaking, bittersweet, all-encompassing love, I yearn for you. Yeah, right, Tommy. Letter number 33. Hi, Angel. I'm so sorry for the pain I caused you. I want you to know there's some solid guys in here who really want to change, but also a lot of cats who don't care a hoot about rehab. If I wanted to, I could easily learn to be a master dope dealer in this place, but I'm staying with the program and committing to you and to sobriety, sweethearts. I'm also trying to gain some of the weight I lost back, but the food here makes McDonald's look like a gourmet restaurant. If you get a chance, could you send some money to my canteen to buy snacks? No pressure. Gosh, he does sound like he kind of wants to change. I mean, he is going through his first Saturn return, so maybe this is Crisis's opportunity? Letter number 99. Great news, sweetness. I talked with my lawyer today, and there's a good chance they'll let me out early with 3 years of parole. Angel, when I get out, I ache to ravish you with unrelenting love and bloom your heart until you drench us both with love and light. Wow. Kind of sounds serious. Now, to the delight of Tommy's family, he is released after a few months in prison on the account that it was his first offense with no previous offenses on record, and probably because he's white. Tommy is taken on the jail bus and let off at the grungiest, most drug-infested part of San Francisco, wearing jeans, t-shirt, and nothing but cell phone and $400 in his back pocket, some of which was the money I naively sent to him to his canteen to buy snacks. Tommy is flying high that night. When I find this information out from Tommy's mother, I send him a text. Goodbye, asshole. I never want to see you again. He texts me back. Sabrina, my love, you can say whatever you want and be as angry as you are at me, and I will always love you, sweetheart. And you know, some native languages, there ain't no word for goodbye. Just see you in our next home. See you in our next home. Well, I've lost Pete. I've lost Tommy. But at least I still have the guys at the prison. I returned to prison the next week and excited to see Mickey and how he's doing. But I'm interrupted when Officer Swats pulls me aside. Hey, Miss Shakespeare, interrupt up. That Mickey guy is out. What do you mean, Mickey's out? You mean he's out of prison? No, out of San Quentin. He got transferred to Folsom yesterday. What? What do you mean Mickey got transferred to Folsom? No. That's not okay. Shakespeare is everything to Mickey. It's his whole family. It's like his home. And Folsom's so far away. Nobody will probably ever visit him there. Well, it's what it is. And By the way, Miss Shakespeare teacher, now that Mickey's out, Folsom, you cannot communicate with him ever again. No letters, no phone calls, nothing. If you do, you will never be allowed to work at San Quentin or any other California prison again. Got that? Yeah. I have a choice to make. One life or many lives. Bye, Mickey. Will Mickey ever forgive me for abandoning him? Will I ever forgive Tommy for going back into drugs? Will I ever forgive myself for not being there for my mother? I still have a lot to learn about forgiveness. Now, after my fight on the phone with my brother Pete, I decided to forgive and forget and attempt to reconnect with him. When my son is born, I am even more motivated to connect with Pete, his wife and daughter, and my father and Ellis too, as they're the only family I got left. My father generously invites us all to go on an Alaskan cruise together for a week. It's the one and only family vacation we've ever taken together as adults. Now, after day 3 of the cruise, something shifts. Pete stops coming to the family meals. On day 5, it kind of feels like Pete is avoiding me. By day 7, I realized Pete has stopped talking to me altogether. On the way off the cruise ship down the ramp, I run up to Pete, trying to talk to him about what's going on. Hey, Pete, I noticed you haven't talked to me the whole cruise. Is something wrong? Did I do something? I'd love to know. Pete just walks away. For several months after the cruise, I send my brother Pete a few emails and leave a few phone messages trying to find out what happened. Hey, Pete, this is your sister Sabrina. I'm just calling to see if you're willing to talk about what I did to piss you off, you know, why you're not talking to me. Anyhow, I'm here if you want to talk. No response, ever. Now, after several years of getting no response from my brother Pete, I make a decision in my own mind that my brother Pete is dead. Dead to me. He's not my brother. The guys at San Quentin are far more like brothers to me than Pete ever was. A few years later, I get a text from Ellis. Oh, Pete's dead. Jumped off his high-rise condo in Oahu. Committed suicide this morning. It's hard to express what I feel in words. Shock, deep sadness for Pete's wife, and especially his 12-year-old daughter, and a strange numbness that the brother that I never really had is dead. I travel without traveling that night. I don't need ayahuasca to travel to these places. Grandmother's voice is now very clear. Escúchame, mi hija. Has hecho un viaje largo. Puedes descansar, Rita. Siempre estoy contigo. Y tu hogar, pues, ya conoces tu hogar. I journey without medicina that night. I am lifted up to the sky, where I visit the plane of souls that are departing this life and moving on to what's next. Mom? Mom, so good to see you. I miss you so much. I wish I could have loved you better when you were alive. See a strange figure moving toward me. Looks like a male figure. Can't see his face. He reaches his arm out. I reach back. But before I know it, I'm gone. I'm whipped back into a sea of no thinking, a sea of luminous darkness. All I can feel is forgiveness. And love. I'm home. The next morning, Tommy is on my mind for some reason. I open up my email. Wondering what happened to Tommy since he got released from prison. Email from Tommy's mother. Oh. Tommy's mother writes, after being released from prison, Tommy goes to live with Danny, who becomes his boyfriend. After several years together, they get into an awful fight. Danny ends up dead. Tommy escapes to his father's house, where he is in hiding. His father encourages Tommy to turn himself in. The police come knocking at the door. Tommy holds a loaded gun to his head and bye, Tommy. You're home. And I'm home too. Because home is wherever we find peace within ourselves. It's wherever we bring our love and forgiveness. You know, grandmother, I gotta say, you were right all along. But did I really have to journey all this way to get this? Okay. Yeah, I did.
Thank you, Suraya. Let's have you back and come on and take your bow here. Thank you so much. Now, we usually like to do a little Q&A, but I know you're on a little bit of a time crunch here. Do you have a
Yeah,
couple
I
minutes, or do you need to be going?
could do yeah, 5 to 10.
Okay, so if anyone has questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I had a couple of thoughts as I was watching to get it started. Now, um, after all these years watching these types of pieces at the Marsh, I'm always a little cautious about assuming how much of this is autobiographical, how much of it is historical truth, how much is art, and you don't have to tell us any of that if you don't choose to. But this is an incredibly intense personal story for you, clearly. And it took a lot of courage to put this out. Um, but it's such a personal story. I thought, wow, it's also a collaboration, meaning the music. It's not all you. So you put some of this story in the hands of your musical collaborator. Um, so what was that process like? Did it make it easier? Did it make it harder?
Well, thanks, David. And yeah, thank you. And thank everyone for being here. And thank you to my amazing musical collaborator, Charles Moselle. He's so talented. And yeah, for me, it was, well, first, just a huge help to have the music, just the interplay of modalities, music supporting the narrative
Hmm.
kind of informing the music. So I'm super grateful to Charles for taking on this project with me. And I can say a little bit about the question around, is this autobiographical or not? And I've written quite a few personal story pieces, and I always write them as a mix where they're mostly autobiographical, but I like to change details and change all the names, and also use my imagination to create it more of a healing story for myself. So there are details that have been changed. None of the names are real, including my own. I'm not Sabrina, I'm Suraya, but in the piece I'm Sabrina. But much of what you saw is based on true life.
Yeah, I mean, from having looked at your website, I was like, oh, okay, so the San Quentin stuff, I'm seeing that, and for the rest of it, I mean, artistic license is awesome. I mean, I think you've totally got that. Now, um, I thought it was really wonderful how well this you performed this piece for the Zoom medium. What's the history of this piece? Was it created sort of during the COVID times, or did you have to adapt it? When did it come into being, and how did you work it for Zoom for online?
Yeah, well, I originally created this piece about 10 years ago, the original version, but when Alexa, wonderful Alexa from the Marsh, invited me to perform a piece at the Monday Night Marsh, I decided to take this piece because it was one of my favorites that I've written, and rework it and change, add things, subtract things, add some new material, like Pete, my older brother, 10 years ago had not committed suicide yet, but that had happened in the interim. So it felt like there were some important elements that I wanted to blend in there. And so, yeah, so I chose this piece because I love it so much. And yeah, and it was definitely fun to see like what wanted to change and what wanted to go. This is my first time performing on Zoom in this way. I
Wow.
have directed a show of Life Story Theater with Marin Shakespeare's Returned Citizens Theater Troupe on Zoom. So I have some familiarity, but it's still definitely a new art to do it in this way. So lots to learn.
Yeah, well, bravo for your first outing. I mean, really outstanding job. I think for working for the camera, connecting to the audience, using the space, combining the music and the movement. So, great maiden voyage in the medium for you. Um,
Thank you. And David, can I invite my musician to show his face? Is that
of
no? Is that
course,
okay?
yeah, we
Okay,
would love
great.
that.
I'll step over so you can see the very talented Charles Moselle. So,
Bravo.
yay!
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for your gifts. with this.
Charles plays like every instrument on the planet.
I was going to say,
Around.
you created such a wonderful tapestry, such a wonderful, of instruments and moods, and feelings and rhythms, and it was marvelous. And the way you two worked together is terrific, just terrific. Um,
There's a coincidence is that I worked in the juvenile justice system and in prisons as a music therapist as
wow.
well. So we both have this grit in our lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah,
It brings us together.
I love that. And one thing I love
But then we
about
have to social distance.
oh right. One thing I love about Life Story Theater is like just in working on this piece with Charles, he knows a little more about my story. I know more about his story. Like it brings out that deeper sharing that I find really important in this world.
Yeah, so I know you have to go, so I have two questions.
Yeah.
One very quick.
Okay, great.
Is you do have a website. You do you're still working at San Quentin, yes?
Well, in a very modified way,
Well,
the
right.
California prisons are all closed to
Yeah.
programs or to most programs. So we're sending in curriculum that the folks in there can do on their own. That's what we're up to right now. But we do have a Return Citizens Theater troupe with Marin Shakespeare, and we'll be doing another show on Zoom likely sometime in spring of 2021.
Fantastic. So and you also teach, and you use theater for healing. And you have a very lovely website. Can I share that with the audience in the chat? Is that all right?
Sure. Thank you,
Okay,
David.
so
Yeah.
popping it in right now if you'd like to follow Soraya and what she's doing. I'm not sure if you have a mailing list or anything, but we'd love to all keep track of where you're at with your work. So thank you so
Yeah,
much
I
for
do have a
sharing
mailing
that.
list.
Um,
Thank you.
we will be restreaming this through our on our YouTube channel. So for those of you in the audience, if you have friends who missed this, they can go to the MarshStream YouTube channel, links on our website, and watch this. So tell your friends, even if they couldn't be here. So Soraya, you have places to go. Thank you, and Charles, so much for sharing this. Thank you, the audience, for being here. We will hope to see you again. And safe and
Thank you
happy
so
travels
much.
to you.
Mhm. Thank you, David. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Charles. Have a beautiful evening. Bye-bye.